Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Shades of Reality. On today's show, I have a very, very, very special and interesting young lady by the name of Kesi Stevens, author of A Guide to Life, African Proverbs, very, very educational book from a young lady. Can you just tell the audience how old you are, Kesi?
I'm 26.
26 years old and absolutely smashing it. Founder of Bake N Tingz, which is a food project with all your lovely sweet and savoury stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not just going to say sweet, savoury too.
Healthy as well.
Balanced. Screenplay, screenwriter, very photogenic as well. You're just in every space, creative space. I really love it. I've been following you for a while. Tell us where the journey began, Kesi. I think it's with the book.
The book is I suppose the beginning of the journey. The book started from just being fed up with life, realising that I'm giving too much of my energy to the wrong people, to the wrong spaces. So just before I started writing the book, I decided I was never going to work again.
I love it. It's like so empowering.
So I was working in like retail I was working from the age of like 17, retail jobs, those type of jobs that just break your spirit. And I reached a point when I was in, I would say my 20s, early 20s, where I can't do this anymore. Mm-hmm. And I told my parents, I'm not working until I figure out what it is I'm meant to be doing in my life, who I am, what's my purpose. And so I just sat in my room. And obviously my mum was a bit upset because obviously how am I going to contribute to the rent? Yeah. I was like, Mum.
Our day we worked. We didn't have this choice.
I was like, Mum, this is a priority in my life right now. So I had to explain that to her. And she wasn't happy, but then lockdown happened. Mm-hmm. So this was 2020, lockdown happened. So obviously I had no choice. I couldn't work. There was no work because we were in lockdown. And I was sitting in my room and I said to myself, I know what I like to do, and that is offer support to other people. I know that I can write to an extent, and I love just being a teacher. Mm-hmm. That's who I feel like I am as a person. And I know that I wanted to do things that contain affirmations, life lessons, and some ways I can give people all the things that I've learned along the way to be able to make these big decisions, these bold decisions in life, and is pass that on. So I sat down with my dad and was like, okay, Dad, I want to do this, but I don't know what I want to do. And he was like, okay, let's piece it together. So you want affirmations? I was like, yes, tick that off. You want to give words of advice? I said, yes. I was like, okay, but how do we piece it together? He said, okay, let's look at the things that you're good at or you know about your history. What about African proverbs? You know a lot about African proverbs. It's something that you grew up on at home. It's something that I taught you as well. So why don't you combine all those things together and see what you can write? I was like, okay. So,
okay, Dad.
Honestly, if I say okay to something, if I say yes straight away, then I know I'm going to do it. So I sat down in my room and I wrote the first lesson. Just found a random proverb, wrote the first lesson, and it was good. I was like, okay. And I was currently working sort of in a partnership with a website brand, and the gentleman said, oh, you can post your blogs on my website basically, and I'll pay you for it. I was like, cool. So I posted the first one and people loved it. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's do another one. Again, found a random proverb online, posted the second one again, people loved it. Third one, fourth one. Then I got to the fifth one and then people were like, Kesi, can you write a book?
You might as well. It's like, it's getting greater and greater.
Like, Kesi, can you write a book? I was like, yeah, why not? So I was on YouTube, how do you write a book? Found out how to write a book. I decided I was going to do 30 proverbs. I bought a book of, I think it was 250 proverbs. I read the whole book, circled all the proverbs that
African
I liked.
proverbs,
yeah. Circled all the proverbs that I liked, cut it down from like 100 to 30, and I just started writing. And I wrote from, I would say, March until September of 2020, the same year. Found a publisher through my cousin, someone who he's worked with. And I hit her up and I said, hey.
Was it a woman publisher?
Yeah, a woman publisher, a black woman. Mm-hmm. I was like, hey, I have a book that I want to publish. This is what I got so far. And she's like, okay, this is what I need from you. Give me like the manuscript and I'll see what I can do. And from there, it was just like, let's go.
That's amazing.
And just to put it out there, remember, I'm not working. So you obviously have to pay for this thing. So it was quite a lot of money to publish the book. So I had to sort of find alternative ways to make the money. So like using my benefits, asking my parents, my aunt and uncle contributed. So that's when you see the community coming together to help me get this book published. And the following year, it came to fruition. And it's just been pushing it from there, basically. Yeah.
Amazing. There's a certain lesson in the book that stood out for me. It was lesson 6, which says, before you heal others, you have to heal yourself first. I think that's so important. especially in every aspect of our lives, even as professionals. We have training as professionals as well, and ongoing kind of support, but only we can do the work within ourselves. We can get told what we need to do, but it's whether we do that. And I think healing is so important, and taking time out for yourself, isolation, professional or not, it's neither there, neither here or there. To become better people or the best version of ourselves, we need to do that. So if you're a teacher, mental health or youth worker or doctor, physician, whatever you are, whatever issues we're going through or we've gone through, we need to sort them out before we can be the best version of what we want to be.
Exactly. Sometimes I think about on the time I've written the book. So I had like a year, 2 years of not working and just being with myself and having that quality time. And that's such a privilege. A lot of people don't get that time for themselves just to sit and be still and think about what it is and who I am in life.
We all had that time, though, don't you think? Because the whole country was locked down. It's what
not everyone used it. Not everyone could use it. There's a lot of factors.
Do you think that from the creative industry side, do you think a lot of people come out of COVID on a positive level in the industry that you're in?
I'm in a lot of industries.
All right, in the creative industry then, because I'm gonna and the right,
I think a lot of new talent came out, but the talent that was already there, I think it knocked on their mental health. And I don't think they were the same.
Okay,
There's
fair
a lot
enough.
of self-reflection, and I think that's where a lot of things have come out of, seeing that the industry is not perfect. There's a lot of things that are wrong with the industry, and I think that time away from it allowed people to reflect and say, I want better.
What industry? The creative or
creative industry as a whole. The creative industry is...
Yeah, because it involves everything, writing, everything.
And I've always said I don't plan on being in the industry. I plan on just being in the back door, putting my work in, getting my coins.
And going. Same here.
I don't plan on making this my life.
No.
I have a skill and a talent and a gift. I must use that to spread my messages. Once my messages have been spread, we move on to the next thing. I don't need to...
No, we don't,
That's why I'm not in the industry. I'm like observing the industry.
Yeah.
I know where the doors are for me to get into the industry and do what I need to do.
For you.
And I know the people to avoid in the industry.
I think we need to know that though. Yeah. And it's self-awareness.
Yes.
You have to go around people that are on the same frequency as you. That, it's all right, me being a creative and you being a creative, but we could have our head, our principles, our values, our morals could be somewhere else. So we need to get okay, what are you on? Yeah. Are you on that? Okay, let's go.
What's your price?
No, thank you.
I need to know.
So I think it's so, and for a young girl, that's why I had to interview, because I work with children. I work with all, adults and children, vulnerable mental health. And I say to all my colleagues as well, and people in general, with the younger generation, they're either absolutely on it, so focused, and so, or they're not. There's no level ground from what I've experienced. I'm not saying that's what I'm saying facts. I'm saying from my observations in working in the environment, and just in general, I observe life. I collect data daily. This is what I do. I could be having a conversation with you, but I'm still, it's the conversation. That's how I get to know people, and you kind of know where you at, kind of thing. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, it's I don't like talking about the younger generation because it's hard. I feel like I don't know if I'm still classified as being in the age group, because now I'm 26. Cut-off point for young people is 25.
Yeah,
I learned that from my job.
But to me, I'm just saying from my, because I'm I'm a good 10 years older than you.
Yeah.
So to me, you're younger generation, and it's so refreshing seeing and meeting, responsible. No, you're a responsible young lady. I've spoken to you outside. I've met you before. We've had our conversations, and it's just refreshing. And it just goes to show, environment matters, but it's all into what's going on internally, and it's all about being responsible and, So I really respect that about you.
Thank you.
So that was what stood out to me. The book, what is the highlight for you in that book?
The overall message is, if you've discovered your gift, go out and use it. Because this book I think it showcases everything that I can do. So I designed the front cover, the graphics of the book is all me. I've written the book. I then sort of went behind the scenes to figure out all the things that I need to do to get this book out there. I've gone to all the markets that I've needed to. I've done a lot of interviews.
You've done research.
So I've done a lot of things to sort of push myself forward. And I think it's just about the messages, taking that leap of faith. and then also making sure you know who you are as a person. Because I got a lot of positive feedback on the book, but I also got a lot of stick. A lot of older generation asked me, who am I to give life lessons? I'm only 24, 25.
Just like
what do you know about life? And I'm like, well, I'm living life, aren't I?
Sorry, after like, you just sound so like.
So yeah, it's a lot of like.
See, I'm 10 years younger and I'm like, I think that's amazing, but I encourage that. And I think we need to teach the older generation that attitude is the wrong attitude because they don't know you. They don't know how many lives you've lived before. So it's very like, very biased and quite uneducated kind of response to give. I can understand where that's come from, but I think that's the issue with them.
Oh,
you
definitely.
Writing that.
Definitely.
Probably they haven't written that. Like they shouldn't be doing that. True. Do you know what I mean? So I think, well, that's neither here or there. That's bound to happen.
I think that was my first time on a black market selling books, and one of my first few customers said that to me. I was just like,
how old was she? Was she like
50 plus? And I was still like, just something just threw me off, and it almost ruined my day. But then I was like,
you never made it.
Like one person, I sold my books the same day.
There's always someone out there that's going to have something to say. As long as you know what you're doing and the mission you're on,
exactly,
and it's fulfilling the purpose, then
exactly. And also the purpose of the book was to. I always say I didn't write the book. That's my big. I didn't write the book. I'm just a channel. The ancestors, all this.
Yeah, you said that to me actually. You did say that.
Because even when I was writing the book, I was like, I need to learn something myself. Okay. So a lot of the lessons in there were like, I'm being taught stuff as I'm writing it at the same time. So there's this balance of me saying I want to do this thing, but also having the spiritual guidance to say, but here's what you need to be saying, and here's how you say it. Because a lot of people say to me, this sounds like an older lady.
Yeah, it's like you've got the ancestors worked through the wisdom. Exactly. And they've what advice would you give to the younger generation, your generation, to channel? How did you manage to channel that? How did you stay focused and manage to be consistent and sustain?
I think this is where we look to parents and community. I wouldn't know this stuff if it was not for my dad and my parents. Like my dad's a writer, but he's also into the spiritual practices and educating himself on like Black African history, and that was brought into the home from like young. So having that door open from an early age where haven't been sort of persuaded by societal influences yet. So
starts at home.
Foundation was built strong.
Starts at home. I say that's my mind. It starts at home. We need a community because parents can't do everything. Exactly. But it starts at home. So once they get that foundation, it kind of
so the foundation couldn't be rocked by anything outside. No. So the door was already open for me. It was just about me sitting still and accepting it. Because my dad started with this stuff. Spirits that I don't like. I used to see things in my room. It could just be coats hanging up. I'm getting scared.
Sorry, so it's not even like, funny. It's the way you said spirits.
It's like nope. So like the first, I think up until like 16 to 18, I was like not interested. But then mental health kicked in, mental health issues, and then that path of I need to tap into what's going on here, and then I think from there, going down the path of like bettering my mental health, opened that door to spirituality as well. So these two things joined together, and then that's when I wanted to connect with my ancestors. That's when I felt their presence more strongly.
Would you say allowing yourself to connect takes a bit of accountability and reflection?
Oh yeah, and it's a lot of like the fear of the unknown, and you have to sort of jump into it. Like if you're being called to do something, they're going to keep knocking until you answer the call.
They do.
And
they do.
They will rock your life.
They do. They'll put you in uncomfortable situations. Stop trying to do that. That's society's way. Do it the spiritual way. Because you're not living in...
Listen,
you're going to get... You're going to feel it. Because some of us have got a purpose. Some of us are anointed. Some of us have to fulfill that.
You have to,
You can't run away from that. I want to talk about Bake N Tingz. Bake N Tingz, because I absolutely love your content. When I've seen it, like, just 26-year-old girl. Oh my gosh, like, I can't wait to have a daughter. That kind of things, like, that makes me want to have a daughter. Tell us where that inspired the cooking.
Okay, so there's like 3 different points to this story. So the first thing is, I've always, for the past 3 years, I said I want to do a food business. I wanted it to just be a simple pop-up thing, just random pop-ups around London. That was the idea. There's no desire to cook. There was no desire to actually like front it. It was just going to be like, I'm going to build this business plan and someone can take it and I'll get my money from it. So that was their initial idea. Then I had this random name pop into my head, which was Bake N Tingz. was like, okay.
Bakes and things, not Bake N Tingz.
So
Sorry.
it's like a fried dumpling, but it's like a flatter version of a fried dumpling.
Yeah, I've seen, yeah.
And you can like put things inside of it if you want to. So that's where the inspiration came from. And it's like inspired by one of my favourite Caribbean takeaways, which is Roti Hut, which was in Shepherd's Bush. They had the best like chicken bakes I used to get. Anyway,
What are they called?
Chicken bakes.
No, the Roti
Hut.
Roti Hut. I gotta try that out.
They closed down like years ago.
Oh, they're not there anymore.
No, not anymore. But they were the Trinis.
Well, you're here now to carry on
I'll try. And then also my grandparents. So I've always said like, so not me, but we always say grandparents, they were the best cooks. Both my grandparents were excellent cooks, like fed the 5,000 that would come through the house. Like they ran people on the streets.
Yeah.
And my granddad would have homeless people in his house eating food. My granny was a very open house, like come in, everyone was welcome. Food was always on point. Desserts were always on point. But with my granddad, which is my mum's dad, none of us were in the kitchen to take the recipes down. So when he passed away, that whole collection of food has just disappeared. There's like one or two things that people can do, but to think about his whole catalogue. And then when my granny passed again, it was just like, I wasn't even myself like, I wish I was in the kitchen with her to take some of her recipes. So then the opportunity came for me to sort of develop this food business. I said, you know what? They should have had a restaurant. I'm going to build something to honour their legacy. And if I can channel ancestors through a book, then I can channel them in the cooking. And that's what it's basically been like a project to experiment how I can use what I know spiritually to make these recipes again and build this food business as a modern Caribbean food fusion business. I then had the opportunity to go on like a business development program. So like I said, so I have this idea, don't know what it is yet, I just have a name. And it's like, don't worry, we'll help you. So I was on it for like 4 months and it helped me develop a full business plan of how it could work. My USP is that there's no Caribbean food business in Hammersmith, where I live, West London, except for Turtle Bay, but we don't include Turtle Bay because they're not Caribbean.
We don't.
And for as long as I've lived there, I was born
respectfully.
Born and lived in Hammersmith, but there's no Caribbean food business, restaurant, takeaway, nothing, wine bar, nothing. So I said, you know what? Found my loophole. I got my business plan. Let me build it up. So I work with my mentor, who's just basically said to me, Kesi, can you cook? And I was just like, yeah. I was like, yeah, I can cook. So I wasn't a confident cook, but I just said yes because I didn't want to say no. If I say no, then the business isn't going to work. So I just said yes. And so this year, just with me sort of being in the kitchen, experimenting. And I think from April until now, I've been experimenting and I finally perfected the bake that I want to make with the fillings. I tested it on the family. Big reviews.
Why didn't you bring some?
Because it takes a lot,
I love
to
food.
be in the kitchen. Next time. But now I feel like I can launch this thing for real.
Yeah.
So
Are you ready?
No, I think I'm just enjoying the process right now.
Yeah, you're just going with the flow.
Launching a business, you have to have money behind it.
Yeah, everything to invest in. You've done a lot of investing in yourself so far, so it's nice to take a break,
I'm just enjoying the process of doing the content and just doing the tasting and stuff like that. And then once I could develop my menu, I think next year I can just be like, boom, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. So you've got do you want an online takeaway with that? What do you want to do with that?
So ideally I would like a small like takeaway restaurant on a certain road and then I want to do like small like events and collaborations and stuff like
amazing.
that. I would love to, there's an empty pub on my road. I would love to take over the pub on the road. I would say like a nice Caribbean wine bar.
Ooh.
With my food business in the back and then the wine bar at the front. So that could be options, but
amazing.
Need the money first.
Yeah, you'll get there. You'll get the money, definitely. You'll get the money. Oh, amazing. Okay, I'm going to go on to your screenwriting, screenplay, media. You do a lot of content with children. You do a lot of youth work, teaching as well.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit more about that. What inspired you to, I know you like teaching, but what inspired you to work with the children in that kind of context?
So going back to the whole me not working, refusing to work until I find out what I want to do, that's where this sort of job comes in, the youth work. So I was working for 2 years and then last year, it was October, I saw a random ad on Instagram for a workshop facilitator, a mentor. And I just refused, I just literally turned down a job for the same role because I didn't want to work with young people. But I saw this job and then something that said, Kesi, you need to apply for this. So I applied. I said, I'm a creative person. I write. I do this stuff. I haven't really worked with like young people of that age. I worked with like nurseries, primary schools, but never worked with secondary school and college. But I said, you know what? I don't mind sort of pushing myself out there a bit more. And then I got the interview and I was like, okay. And you only walk into a place and you're just like, yeah, I want to work here.
This is for you.
Yeah. I literally walked into this little room. I was like, the two founders were talking to me. I was like, yep, I'll see you in 2 weeks.
You like the vibes and the energy was yours.
I literally said to them, I'll see you in 2 weeks. I want to work here. Thank you for listening to what I have to say. I'll wait for my call. And literally like 2 weeks later, I got the call and I started working there. And it was just like, it ticks all the boxes where I'm like, I'm working with young people, with kids, which has always been a passion of mine. I've always felt like my purpose is centered around children and sort of educating the next generation on the things that I've been blessed to have, and it's giving them those tips that they need to sort of step out of the reality and into their own reality and thrive. I also get to do the writing, the creative stuff, the content creation, and I also got to do script writing, which was like a new passion I just stepped into. So it's just been ticking all the boxes, all the things that, you know, when your job that has all the things that you want to do and a good pay, it's just like, thank you God. So I was like, yes, perfect for me.
Amazing.
So yeah, it's been amazing.
What's the experience like working with the young children?
I was a bit nervous at first, but I think it's because you go in there with like an adult mindset where it's like, they don't know what they're on about. Like, they're young, they're still naive. Yeah. But once you realise that some of these kids, they know what they're talking about. Because that used to be me. So why would I think that?
Exactly. That's why I always say, like, when I look up, like, I like
these young people, the ones that have got their heads screwed on, they're going to be so successful in life. It's just hopefully their parents are there to support them.
Nurture it and
they don't
consistent.
sort of fall into our path. Yeah. But a lot of them have so much potential to be great. And I'm just looking at them and thinking to myself, I'm happy that you're with us as well, that I get to work with you.
You get to see that and I can just be involved in development.
Exactly. I can drop those gems.
How important is it for you to do that, to inspire the younger generation? Because, you know, it comes from somewhere, like you said, you want to give back what you had. Yeah. But would you say what other children don't have or don't get to act? Because you've been fortunate. Yeah. But would you say there's a lot of us you know, where we come from, a lot of us aren't fortunate. A lot of young children aren't fortunate.
I think it's the balance of giving back what I have, but also giving back what I didn't have. So what I didn't have was, I would say, I don't know if it's the word empathy or like the softness, the love, the care, the mental health support. Those little things that young people need, that sort of softness in parents, in adults around you. I didn't really have that. Or maybe I did, but I just didn't know, but I needed that. And then the things that I did have was education, morals, all these things like sort of pushed into me. This is how life is. This is how you need to navigate life, and being open to other things and stuff like that. So it's having that balance of giving what I have, giving what I didn't have, and then that's the perfect picture for me. It's like, I know that I've achieved a lot of things. I'm a really grounded person, but I knew that if I had a bit more softness and care in this area, I could have avoided certain paths and things like that. So just making, not to say that I want them to avoid certain things, I just feel like there's certain things you don't need to experience in life.
I agree.
And I think that's fair to say. And I think if I can just sort of
avoid others from experiencing that by giving that extra support you didn't have. Amazing. Yeah, that makes sense. You've done a lot of work filming. What are you involved in? Because I see a lot of content on your
I'm just doing everything.
Instagram page. Do you films, documentaries?
Right now, so through work, I was able to work with another organisation with young people who had to write and shoot their own short films. So I was on the sort of writing team. So I was teaching the young people how to script write, basically, which is something I learned the previous year. So it's basically passing on the skills that I've learned straight away. Yeah. And I was able to actually write one of the scripts, which was like a psychological thriller about anxiety and stuff like that.
Right up my street.
So anxiety is something I actually had experienced, like a really bad experience with in my younger years. So literally like, I could talk about this, it's not a problem. So we managed to write 2 short films, which was a psychological thriller and a rom-com. And then as I was helping to write those 2 short films, I was also writing another short film for another creative organisation, which is like I suppose it's a drama, indie drama. Like a black indie drama. And it's just me.
What's it called? Do you know?
It's called Who You Don't Know. So it's about the industry and how they say it's all about who you know. And I gave the title Who You Don't Know because for me, it's about who I didn't know. Yeah. That's how I was able to get the opportunities because I didn't know anyone. And I just sort of met strangers and connected. And
they supported you, yeah.
And then I'm currently working on another short film for someone else, just talking about their personal life story and the things that they've been through. And so this has basically been my year of giving. Yeah. I always give so that I can say that I've given enough of my energy to people to help them on their path. And then when I take a year out for myself to write my stuff, it's like I can say, yo, I did my part.
I done my part. That's it.
I need a year for myself.
definitely.
So like, next year is going to be me doing my stuff. So I've done a lot of writing for other people. It's been fun, but it's also been very stressful. Now I just know that I need to write for myself, and I think that's my life lesson. I always give to others first, and it always goes. It doesn't go wrong, but there's always that one experience that really just wasn't meant to.
I think that's probably telling you it's time to focus on yourself, kind of thing.
Literally, every time.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So what have you got coming up in the near future? What's this time to yourself entail? Is that something you can speak about?
I suppose so. Well, the next project, that actually the big one, it's a joint collaboration project. So we work on a TV series about young people. So we've been doing a lot of like tester short films with it. So I need to sit down and write in it. So that's my last project, like for outside of myself. But I have a lot of like films that I want to write. I have a lot of short films, a lot of TV series.
What TV? Mainstream TV or?
I'm definitely going to. I'm not doing streaming. I'm doing TV. Like,
okay.
My eyes are on Channel 4.
Channel 4, yeah.
Just because I think out of all the broadcasters, they're the ones to go for. And I think with the way streaming,
I'm not a fan of none of them, but yeah,
exactly,
it is what it is.
I'm not a fan of any of that. But Channel 4 for me, versus the streamers is like,
Channel 4 is the one if you had to choose.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of ways to, with the way the streaming platforms are, I can sort of leverage. I can say I can get these audiences over back to TV, because TV is falling. TV has been falling for a long
mainstream time. People are waking up to mainstream TV.
Yeah,
it's that simple. It's a load of
boring now, and it's like that. But for me, that's
foolishness.
Opportunity. See, I see that opportunity. Like, TV is boring.
Yeah.
How do we make it?
How do we make it?
And that's where someone like me comes in.
Yeah.
And
create your own TV kind of thing.
Like the book is about messages. My films, they're all gonna be. There's messages in there. Me already. There's gonna be something. It's be rom-com, but there's something messages. Yeah.
So what is the mission and the purpose and the vision for you, Kesi, with your whole projects? You as a person, what you want to give back to society? That's what you're doing now. So it's not about you're doing that.
Yeah.
Where do you see Kesi Stevens in 10 years from now? Because you're still young.
36.
Don't say that.
I'm still young. I'm trying to be at home with the kids by that time. But I think for me, it is about legacy, but at the same time, it's like I got foundations to build. I got foundations to build for myself, for my future children, for the young people as well. I just want people to, not just people, but I just want the community that I am building. It's not necessarily a black community, but
it's just this community of like-minded.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
This community that I'm building, I want them to be able to say, hey, Kesi, I want to build this, or I want to do this. And like, yep, there's the funding pot. Put your application in and the money will come to you. And just as long as you've got all the T's and I's, that's fine with me. And I just want to make sure that having access to opportunities and it's just easier for everyone. I just can't make it seem like this is difficult.
Like, you've got to be you've got to be in this group and you've got to be this person.
Exactly.
And it's all wallet.
And like, we like to say community. I'm like, the community is just like, the community isn't, I don't like this community at the moment in time. So when I don't like something, I build my own thing. And
it's that simple.
That's
I've done that since a child. I don't like something. Later, I don't have to explain myself to nobody.
My purpose, actually.
I've tried to, adjust myself. It's not working for me. God has took me out of things and put me over here for a reason.
Exactly.
And that's that. And I'm happy where I am. If you want to jump on board, that's great. But I'm not jumping on board with anything because this is God's. I'm trying to, build it on God's foundation here, the principles of the Most High, of the Creator, and my Creator, the Creator of all things. And it's not an easy journey, but it's worth it, and it's sustainable, and it's longevity, and it's purpose, and it's just this substance and meaning. It's just great.
It is. So
great. I think that just being, just disciplined in itself. I think it's just beautiful. And
the thing is, going down this path, the amount of things you get to experience.
It's just...
And you got these people over there that are so miserable. Like I'm saying, but if you just open up yourself...
You wouldn't be so miserable. You would
find the joy in life over here.
I'm always laughing since a child. Like even in school, you can ask my friends. I'm always laughing, and I believe it's food for the soul. Sometimes I laugh at very things that I shouldn't laugh at, but I think that you have to find fun in things. So like even bad situations, that's how I deal with things. I think it's part of my job as well, like because of my job. And I think it's just in general. And from a child, I've learned how to deal with things. happiness is food for the soul. And no matter what you're going through, just try and be appreciative that you're still here. Like, when people say, you're all right. Yeah, I'm alive. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
That's my response. I'm alive. I'm so happy.
Even when I'm going through like my darkest days, I'm like, but you know what?
I'm still happy. I still thank God.
It's a moment in time as well. It's a moment in time. I always tell myself, it's a moment in time. It's not going to last forever. So let me just go through this process. Let me feel these emotions because I know it's going to go soon.
Yeah.
And then I know.
My motto is everything will be all right in the end. And if it's not all right, it's not the end. Mm-hmm. Nothing lasts forever. Everything has an ending and a new beginning.
Yeah.
And I think humans, we need to channel that. It's hard. It's not easy,
Exactly,
but we need to learn how to do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. The book's out. Have you got any more books that are coming? I would recommend that book, guys, honestly.
Yeah, I think
it's so educational, especially from a young woman.
Been out for 2 years. Give me I need more life experience, guys. When I get more life experience, I write the next one.
To that woman, she'll write the next one. She gets more life experience.
I'll do it when I'm 36.
Yeah. But yeah, that's amazing. Bakes and Tingz, all that's coming.
Yeah,
You're going to see
on TikTok,
Instagram.
Follow the journey.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kessie, what's your name on Instagram?
It's just Kesi .sx.
Yeah, you got email address or anything that
it's all in Instagram.
On the links. Yeah, everything. Oh yeah, it is.
Everything's in links.
Guys, please check out the book A Guide to Life. I'd really recommend it. All ages. I think you're just an inspirational young woman, and I like to see. I want to see more of this. More consciousness, more meaning, more substance, especially with your generation. It's so important for women of your generation, setting examples because you're in that generation. So I think it's so amazing, so important. And I appreciate you and I thank you for everything that you're doing. I really do. And I can't wait to see what Kessie has in store next year.
Big things, man.
Big things. All right then, well, I'm going to wrap it up, guys. Thanks for watching.